Hey guys, thanks for joining me today on the PJo Show. I'm a little bit out of breath. I'm going to need to take a drink of water because I was having a little dance party. Mm. Thank you for that. Sorry for hearing my gulping, but I had to have a little dance party with myself. Yeah, listening to that "A Good Day" by Nappy Roots. Yeah, um, that's something that I like to do. I like to play my music real loud and have a little PJo dance party. It gets my energy up, gets the vibe up. Ooh, I love it. Makes me feel good. And that makes me feel good to sit here and talk to you guys in a place of, "Ooh, let's feel good." Yeah, so I might be coming at you a little hard and fast right now, but it'll settle down. It'll settle down. Because right now I still got that beat in my head. Anyway, here we go. Whew. Hey, thanks for joining me. Super fun. I appreciate it. Um, Today we are going to talk about that alone feeling that we have. Yeah, kind of icky. It's kind of icky. But that alone feeling is what set me on my journey for self love and acceptance. Yeah, so I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for all the things, and that's taken me a while to get there. I'm gonna be honest about that. Like, yeah, I'm in a place of, life happens for me and not to me, but that took a while. So I'm going to talk about the first step for me, and that was feeling alone. You guys felt alone? Do you feel alone now? As a kid, I always felt alone. Always. It had nothing to do with my parents or my sister or my family or my friends. I just always felt alone. And I've always felt alone. Like, even when I am surrounded by people who love me, I still have felt alone. And the loneliness was terrible. It was sad and it was destructive and it was real. I think some of the loneliest times I've ever experienced are those when I've been surrounded by the most people. It makes 0 sense, but it was absolutely the truth. And the reason why I felt so alone was because I was out of alignment for myself. This is what started my search for self-love and acceptance, was this loneliness feeling. I knew that I wasn't supposed to be lonely. And I could look around at my beautiful family, all the love and the support that I was receiving. I could look and see all of that, but I didn't understand why I was still lonely. And so I thought that it was because there was something inherently wrong with me. Do you ever feel like that? Like there's something wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with you. I just want to say that. And even now I'm saying it to myself. Like I'm saying that to little Trish, like, honey, there's nothing wrong with you. What you're feeling is completely normal. We all feel alone sometimes. And so that set me on this journey. And my journey has been destructive. I'm going to be really honest with you and upfront with that. Like my self help journey, my self awareness and self acceptance journey was destructive. I thought that I was a piece of crap because I was the only person that could have ever possibly feel this way. My therapist, the one that saved my life, called that I was a super special unicorn. And so I laugh at myself about that sometimes too when I fall back into those patterns of a super special unicorn syndrome. I am a survivor of super special unicorn syndrome. Yeah, I had it at one time. I'm in remission. Luckily, it's fantastic. It's a great feeling. Yeah. So super special unicornness, destructive. I thought I had to change to be fully loved and to be fully loved and accepted by everyone else. I thought I had to change. But that's not true. That's inaccurate. That is inaccurate. because what I actually, my aloneness had nothing to do with what was going on around me. That feeling of alone had 0% on what was going on around me. And it had 100% to do with what was happening inside of me. That's why I say, to really find true love, self love, and radical acceptance for ourselves, the journey is within. The journey is within. So, all that loneliness wasn't because I didn't have friends. It wasn't because I didn't have people who loved me. It was because I didn't love myself. It had everything to do with what was, and most importantly, what was not happening inside of me. I thought I had to change. I've always been this really bright, sparkly person, and people are attracted to me. They want to be near me. I can go to a party or a function, and I can be on the wall, and suddenly, without even knowing, I'm in the middle of the action. And a lot of times I'm having fun, man. I am kicking my heels up and I'm having a good time. And it's great. But I always thought that that was wrong, that that was showy. It was this really weird juxtaposition of wanting to be seen, but then being ashamed of wanting to be seen. Like, this is really tricky. And this is what I've had to work out. It's not the feeling, it's the feeling about the feeling that got me, right? Like, it's the judgment of the feeling. Like, because I was always in the middle of the action, because I was always having fun and being seen and being that real loud and hooping and hollering kind of gal, I was ashamed of that. I was ashamed of needing that. So I made that wrong in my brain. I also made that wrong in my heart. I'm going to move some stuff right there because that was kind of big for me. Do you do that too? Do you make the behavior that lights you up, do you make that wrong? Because that's what that is. Like, being seen for me, that lights me up. And again, not in a place of look at me, I'm great. As in, I am just big. I'm a big personality. I'm a big energy. It's hard to keep that bigness in a small package. And I was trying so badly to shove myself into this small little box because I was ashamed of being seen. I was ashamed that that lit me up, that made me feel good. So what I did is after I felt good, I kicked the shit out of myself. I kicked my own tail, right? Like it's been described to me as I'm a peacock and I like to show my tail, but then I quickly put it back and I look around to make sure that it was okay that I showed my tail. Is that all right? Is that okay? What do you think about that? Gonna do it again? That's how I lived my life. And as I have processed this, I can remember being told sometime in my life, I don't know by who, not important. The who said it is not important. They might not have even said it, but I felt it because I'm a feeler. I can feel people's energies. I'm an empath. I feel that. So it might not have ever been said, but I felt it. Don't quit showing your tail. I was writing in my journal. I love journals. I have them everywhere. I was writing in my journal recently, and those exact words came down to me as I was processing this through my, my peacock metaphor. I have a wicked case of the metaphors. I love them. That's the way I think. That's the way I process is in metaphors. But As I was working through this metaphor of me being a peacock, I heard that clearly in my head, quit showing your tail. And that hit me. I have heard that. I have felt that. I have put shame on that part of me. And so I had to work through that. But I thought incorrectly that the work was going to eliminate the need for being seen. It was going to eliminate my bigness. It was going to make me, a more socially acceptable package. No, that's not what it does. The work, which was why I was doing the work destructively. I was doing the work in an energy from the place of change. To be loved, I have to change. Is a crock of nope. No, no, no. Those are the parts that I need to accept and to embrace. So what did I do? I made a podcast. I made my own show, the PJo Show. You better believe this lights me up. You better believe that I love this about me now. I've always been comfortable on stages and speaking to people. Always. My husband's not. And he has to do it all the time. So I get to pump him up like, you can totally do this. And meanwhile, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Tell me what to say, Greg, and I'll go say it for you. But that's the beautiful thing about our relationship. That's the beautiful thing about our contract, our soul contract with each other. We chose each other for those reasons. So for me, in the beginning, the work was destructive, but it kept me going. It kept me going. The loneliness is what started my journey. And now that I am in this place of love and acceptance, I'm not lonely anymore because I'm with my best friend. I'm with my biggest cheerleader all the time. And she's been with me from day one. It's me. I am my best friend. I am my biggest cheerleader. I am my strongest critic, and that's okay too. Because I understand that inner critic is my ego. That inner critic is my human self trying to keep me safe. And I'm doing air quotes right now, safe. And that's okay. I welcome those reminders because I'm not afraid of them. I'm not ashamed of them. And I know it's okay. I understand the why of why that's happening. And it's okay. Everything is okay. I understand that everything that I feel is meant to be felt. And so that gives me permission to look at it with curiosity, which is my word for 2021, curiosity. Like, how awesome is that? Right? Like, why is this happening? I'm not judging it as good or bad. I'm just like, huh, wonder what that's all about. That's pretty interesting. Wonder what that is. And it lets me look at things as an observer. And usually it's my own stuff that I'm looking at as an observer. And that's a really neat place to be. And I love it. Excuse me, that's why I'm trying, that's why I'm wanting to show you all of these things so that you can get to this place of acceptance as well. This is a great place to be. And when you get to this place, you find all of these other things just kind of fall away. And it's beautiful. And you've not had to work at it hard. Right? When you are in a line with yourself, other things that are in alignment with that self flow with ease and are effortless. Yeah. So if you're trying to make these really big changes, like I was trying to make these really big changes. Okay. So, Trish, what you're going to do is the next time you're at the party or at a function, you're not going to drink too much, you're not going to talk too much, and you're not going to dance. And that's going to make you feel good. So what did I do? I would show up at these functions with this in my mind. I'm going to have a two drink limit, which usually turned into way more than that because I was trying to mask myself, trying to make myself small. I was out of alignment with myself. And so everything that I was doing was very difficult. Everything that I was doing took so much effort and it was exhausting. It was exhausting because it's not the way that we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be living in alignment with ourselves. And when you are in a place of love and of acceptance of you, your true self, and when you are in alignment with that, things just flow effortlessly. So that means I can have a dance party to Good Day by the Nappy Roots in my room, on my porch, in my car, at the stoplight, and I don't care who's looking at me. I can just do it. Feels good. So I'm going to do it. It's in alignment with who I am. Now, if I was living in a place of shame, that's a different story. Then I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to dance without effort. And I'm going to be honest, there's some days I don't feel like dancing. And it's those days I don't dance because it's not effortless. And it's okay. Like everything is okay. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that today, but everything is okay. Isn't that great? That's why I love mantras so much. Like this is a tangent, I feel like I love mantras because it breaks this cycle of thought. Right? So my daughter, my oldest daughter, she has OCD and anxiety. These are professional diagnoses. It's not just me saying, "This is what you got, kid." This is real. And she would have tummy issues, and she was one of the things that she's desperately afraid of is throwing up. It's one of her major triggers. And when she was having these episodes of these panic attacks, is basically what it was. When we were trying to break that thought process that her stomach hurt and that she was going to vomit, we had a checklist, and we would have her feel into her feet. And okay, how are your feet? My feet are fine. I'm okay. How are your legs? How are your knees? How is your back? How are your arms? How are your fingers? How is your nose? Is your nose okay? My nose is okay. I'm okay. And as she was doing that, we would list off all the parts on her body except for her stomach. So that she had told herself so many times that she was okay, that it felt okay, that finally when we could get to her tummy, how does your tummy feel? She had broken that pattern of I'm going to get sick. I'm going to be sick. My tummy hurts. That hurts. It doesn't feel good. It's upset. I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick. She had broken that pattern with I'm okay. I'm okay. It feels good. It feels okay. It feels okay. I'm safe. So that when she had broken that pattern, she could actually start to analyze what her tummy really felt like. And guess what? Her tummy felt okay. That's what I love about mantras. For me, in the beginning of my work, mantras broke a cycle. And even even now, when I'm flying, I'm a timid flyer. I've never been a timid flyer. So that's kind of new, but it's okay. I'm going with it. So when we hit turbulence now, oh my God, it just like sends me into these panic modes. So what I do is I just start my mantras. I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm okay. I'm okay. Because it breaks that pattern in my brain. Oh my God, I'm going to die. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Deep breath in, out. Ooh, that just moves some energy. And then I start my mantra. I am safe. I'm okay. I am divinely supported and guided. And it helps break that pattern. So I love mantras. There's a saying Oprah says, you got to speak it into being. Like if I say it enough, I'll believe it. I'm not quite on board with that so much, but I absolutely am on board with it breaking the cycle of the thought. And that's okay. Like Oprah and I, we got different things. It's cool. Oprah is amazing. She's spoken her stuff into being. I have spoken some of my stuff in being. I'm just not so sure that's the way that we have to go about it. But it does serve its purpose. Like when I do say I'm safe on that plane, it speaks that into being. I do immediately start to feel safe because it's broken the destructive pattern in my brain, right? Today's going to be a good day. Yeah, that helps me break the cycle of it's a Tuesday, it's going to be terrible. Like it helps me break that cycle, and it's great. And it's great. I love mantras. And I'll give you guys some mantras. Like that's one of the things I want to do with the show with my XOXO PJos. Like the work is hard. We don't have to be hard on ourselves. We talk about serious things, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. You know where that one came from? I had a therapist one time. I like to make jokes. And if I'm talking about if something really serious is going down, I usually crack a joke. It's usually pretty inappropriate too. And it's because it helps me deal with really serious things. Because when things are really feeling heavy and tense around me, I have a hard time functioning in that space. So I need a little bit of light, right? The dark is heavy. I'm a person of light. So as I crack a joke, it makes things a little lighter. And so it puts a little bit of space between me and whatever the serious situation is. So I can breathe a little bit easier. Makes it a little bit easier for me to handle. It's just who I am. But I had a therapist one time, I was cracking some jokes, and he told me that I was never going to not be depressed. I was never going to get through my depression if I wasn't going to take it seriously. And that he didn't want to work with me any longer if I couldn't take things seriously. That was my last visit with that therapist. It was almost my last visit with any therapist. And I, that's his issue, not my issue, but it put a whole lot of shame on my silliness. And it gave me something to work through. Like, oh, wait, I need to accept this silliness. These inappropriate jokes, they're just who I am and how I deal with things, and that's okay. He gave me something to work through, and it took me a long time to work through it, to make it easy, to fully accept it, and to actually be one of my favorite things about me. I can crack a joke. I can make things easier to handle. So that's why we're here too, right? Like we're going to talk about serious stuff, but we're not going to take ourselves too seriously. The serious and the silly, they hold hands. They can be partners. And it's okay. Hell, I think if more people thought that way, I think about the stuff that we could do, right? Like, oh my God, could you imagine if somebody would just crack a joke in Congress so that they would laugh a little bit? Whew, that might be what we need. That might be what we need. Stand-up comedians for Senate, please. That would be fantastic. I love that idea. I got off on this tangent. I don't know where I went, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm just going to flow with it. I'm just going to flow with it. Maybe that's the end of our show. Kind of feels like the end. I don't even remember what I was talking about in the beginning. I know I was talking about my loneliness and about my journey. And I've shown you some examples of some of the work that I had to do to fully accept myself as this divine creature, this super fun gal, right? So if you are feeling lonely and you are seeking connectivity outside of yourself, I want you to, for a moment, to please consider perhaps the connection that you're missing is not to the outside, but is to yourself. Maybe the human you, your ego, and your soul you are out of alignment. They're far apart. Maybe we need to start bringing them back together again so that they can be in alignment. And the way that you do that is by loving the things that light you up, recognizing the things that light you up, being seen lights me up. Ancient Aliens on the History Channel lights me up. I love it. And so I watch it. And then I like to talk about it. And that's okay. There's a time that I would have never told you that because, oh my gosh, what would they think if they knew that I liked Ancient Aliens? I don't care. I like Ancient Aliens. Part of who I am. And I'm very proud of who I am. So something to think about. What, my loves, lights you up? And are you ashamed of it? And if you are ashamed of it, why are you ashamed of it? Write that down in a journal, on a Post-it note. Lord, I love my Post-it notes. I'll take Post-it notes, write something on it, and then stick it in my journal. I have those all over the house too. So think about that. What lights you up? And are you ashamed of it? Does it also bring you shame? And why? And then that is a bridge to peace. That shame is a bridge to peace. Shame is awful. It's a hell of a drug. It keeps you small. And the way that you heal shame is through vulnerability, which is why you're here with me today. To see vulnerability in action. To see authenticity in action. So that you can also show up in your life in vulnerability and in authenticity. Well, authenticity is my activism. How fantastic is that? By just being me. By just being me, I can make change in the world. By just being you, fully loved and accepted you can change the world. That's why my energy coach, she has the World Changer Collective, and we drink out of these World Changer mugs. Yep. She's fantastic. Natalie Imka is her name. She's a beautiful woman. She's absolutely changing the world. And she is teaching us that by just being yourselves, by just being you, authentic, I can't even say it, being you authentically can change the world. Being you, fully loved, fully supported by you can change the world. That's empowering. That's amazing. That is amazing. All right, friends. I feel like this is where I'm supposed to leave you today on the PJo Show. But hey, as you know, I want this to be an interactive space. So please, on my Facebook page, the PJo Show, where you're watching me right now, let me know what lights you up. And are you ashamed of it? Practice that vulnerability right here in this safe space. Are you lonely? Let me know about times that you felt lonely and how you've discovered connectivity to yourself is the ultimate cure for loneliness. All right, darlings. I love you so much. Remember, we can be serious and not take ourselves too seriously. I love you. XOXO, babies. PJo